Episode number 126. Hello, you're listening to the Career Changemaker podcast. Having the courage to leave a career that you have worked hard to build and try something else can be tough. So in each episode, we dive into key career change strategies so that you have a clear understanding of what is required to transition into a new role or a new industry without feeling like you have to start at the bottom or have to take a massive pay cut, because ain't nobody got time for that. If you are ready for frank and honest discussions about how to become a career change maker, keep listening. I'm your host, lawyer turned career strategist and executive coach, Janine Esbrand. Are you eager to get unstuck and figure out what you would actually like to do with your career next? Have you been going around in circles trying to figure it out but getting no further forward? If so, you're going to love today's sponsor, my signature group program, the Career Clarity Academy. Changing career direction can feel overwhelming and daunting, but it doesn't have to be. In my signature program, we give you clear, step-by-step, proven processes for getting completely clear on what it is that you want to do and understanding how you can leverage your existing experience and position yourself to attract and land a dream role. To find out more, head over to lightboxcoaching.com/academy. I wanted to jump on today and talk about this topic because I think it's really important when you are considering what your next step is. When you are considering what it is you want to do next, sometimes you can be in a position where you're not actually shooting for what you really want, but you're shooting for what you think you can get. And this really came up yesterday when I was speaking to one of my clients, and she is someone who had identified when we first started working together that the role that she was in was not challenging enough, and that she was feeling undervalued, and that she felt like she could be operating at a higher level within her organization or elsewhere. And the thing that's come up for her is she actually positioning herself for the type of role that she really wants? Because she identified when we first started working together that she wanted to go for more of a leadership role, but she hasn't fully been showing up and putting herself out there or positioning herself to attract that type of opportunity. And the reason why we were talking about it is because she went on a leadership course that was offered by her organization recently. And it was like a 3-day course and it was brilliant. She got a lot from it. But what was really interesting was that other people on the course had said to her that they could see leadership qualities in her. So they had described her in a way where she was clearly someone who could lead others, who could empathize, who could figure out a situation quickly and come up with a solution. She had all of these really great qualities, and people who had just met her were able to see that in her. And what was really interesting is because she had that reflected back to her, she then was able to say, do you know what, maybe I can do it, maybe I can. And it's interesting because she had identified at the beginning that that's what she wanted. She wanted to go for a leadership position, but it wasn't until someone else or a number of other people said, we can see those qualities in you, that she is now thinking, yeah, I can do it. Her situation hasn't changed in terms of her ability, in terms of what she's able to offer, in terms of the value that she's able to bring. None of that has changed. All that has changed is her perception about what is possible for her. And so I think it's really important to think about that, particularly if you're in a position where you are saying that you want to make a move and you have been going around in circles saying you don't know what it is you want to do, you don't know what it is you want to do. Is it that you don't know what you want to do, or is it that you don't believe that it's possible for you to do what you really want to do? Are you like my client where you're saying, yeah, ideally I'd like to do that, but I don't think that's possible for me right now. Maybe I need more experience. Maybe I need to do some training. Maybe I need some extra things in order to qualify me to go for the type of role that I really want to go for. Because if you're saying that, then you may never get into the position where you are finding and you are positioning yourself for the actual roles that are going to make you happy, or the actual roles that are going to bring you the job satisfaction that you are seeking. Because if you are playing at the same level, but you know that you want to be playing at a higher level, then that means you're going to be putting yourself forward for roles that are probably similar or on par with what you're doing now. So once the initial honeymoon period wears off, where you move from one organization to another, or you move from one industry to another, once that wears off and you get down to the nitty gritty of what you're actually doing on a day-to-day basis, if you're still operating at the same level that you were before, and that is the thing that was frustrating you, then you're no further forward. So it's important for you to identify, what is it that I'm going for or that I really want, and why do I want it? And am I really positioning myself for that type of opportunity? Because if you are looking for evidence that those opportunities that you really want are there and you're not seeing them, that doesn't mean that they're not there. That might just mean that you're looking in the wrong place. So if you're basing what you think you can get on what you see in the marketplace, so if you're basing it on the fact that, I would ideally like to do this type of role, but I've had a look on Indeed, and I've had a look on LinkedIn Jobs, and I've had a look on multiple job boards, and I'm not seeing any opportunities at the level that I would like to go into, or in the type of sector or the type of role that I want. So therefore, there aren't any opportunities out there. Or I've spoken to some recruiters and they've said there's nothing out there in the market, so therefore there's no opportunities out there. If you're saying that and you're basing your decision about what you put yourself forward for or what you position yourself to attract, if you're basing it on what you see, then it might be that you're not looking in the right places, because the reality is 80% of opportunities are not advertised. The hidden job market makes up the vast majority of roles. They are not advertised. They are not out there. So if you are looking for them on job boards, which only hold 20% of vacancies, and you're not finding them there, that doesn't mean they don't exist. So instead of saying, I'm looking for this type of opportunity, there aren't any of those opportunities out there, so I'm just going to settle for something else. Instead of saying that, the question should be, well, how can I go about finding those types of opportunities? How can I go about positioning myself for the type of role that I actually want to go for? Because landing a role is not easy. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of research. It takes a lot. So what is the point of putting in a lot of time, energy, and effort in landing the role that isn't really the type of role that you want to go for? Because then you're just going to be in the same position feeling frustrated. Or the other side is you don't apply at all, and then still you're going to be in the same position where you're either seeking a role or you're looking to make a move and you're not happy in what you're doing. So what needs to happen is you need to get clear on, what is it that I really want? Where do I want to be positioning myself in the marketplace? What type of role do I want? And then do the work that is required to position yourself for that, so that other people can see that you are able and capable and fully in a position to perform that type of role. If you are holding yourself back, then what can we do? Like, someone isn't just going to give you a role if you're not going to show up and position yourself and demonstrate and articulate how you would be a good fit for that role. So when we're having a passive attitude to things where it's like, I'll just see what happens, I'll see what comes up, I'll see what's out there. It's like, is it going to come though? Is it going to come if you don't go looking for it? Is it going to come if you don't put yourself forward for it? And if we just stay in the mindset where it's about being passive and having that lack mindset where it's like, there's no opportunities out there, then it's really hard to push forward and push towards what it is that you know is going to make you far more fulfilled in the role that you're doing right now. I shared a story the other day on my Facebook page about my daughter and how determined she was that she could do something. She's 3 and we were going to the school, and my son now has to get left at the gate to go into the school. And he's 5, he's in year 1, she is in preschool, she's in kindergarten. And she was like, I want to go in by myself as well. And I'm saying, you can't go in by yourself. She's like, yes, I can. Yes, I can go in by myself. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. The reality is she could physically do it. She could walk in by herself, but it wasn't necessarily age appropriate for me to just leave her at the gate. But she was so convicted and so determined that she could do it that I had to then meet her halfway and allow her to do it. And the reason why I'm sharing that with you is because some of us had that conviction when we were a lot younger, where it's like, the world's my oyster, I can do whatever it is I want to do. We had that conviction, but then over time, for whatever reason, we've lost it. We've lost it. So instead of saying, yes, I can do something, we immediately default to, I don't think it's going to be possible for me. I don't think I can. That's not going to work for me. As opposed to saying, I can do it, I just need to figure out how. Like, I can make it happen, I just need to figure out how I'm going to make it happen, is what we can be focusing on, rather than, it's not going to work for me. Particularly now, like when we look out in the marketplace, when we look at the news, when we look at everything that's going on, it just feels all doom and gloom. It's not going to be possible to make any moves right now. There's cuts everywhere. It's going to be too hard. Like it is. The reality is it is going to be hard, but also there is still movement in the job market. There are still people being hired. There are still people being promoted. There are still things going on. And so if you are not going to be one of those people who position yourself for the opportunities that are out there, then you'll be one of the people that don't move right now. So you can choose. You can choose to just say, do you know what, I'm just going to just go with the flow and just see what happens. Or I'm going to stop being passive and I'm going to step up and I'm going to identify exactly what it is that I want. And then I'm going to position myself for that type of opportunity, right? Like I've been in so many situations in my life so far, in my professional career, where I could have just accepted the fact that I can't do that. If you listen to episode 100 of my podcast, I was talking about my career journey and how I've made 5 career transitions in my legal career so far. But I was just reflecting on the fact that there have been so many circumstances and instances in my life so far where what I actually achieved and what I actually got to do shouldn't have really happened or wouldn't have really happened had I accepted that's not possible for me. So when I was 15, careers advisor at school said I wouldn't be able to be a lawyer because I was Black from a working class background. I wouldn't be able to be a lawyer. That's what she said. I didn't take what she said as truth. I took what she said as that's your opinion. I'm going to show you otherwise. But I could have said it's going to be too hard, so I'm not even going to put myself out there. When I got rejection after rejection after rejection from law firms, I could have said, yeah, she was right. I'm just going to stop applying. But I was like, no, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to figure out what I need to do to position myself for the type of opportunity that I want. And then was able to land a training contract. When I said I want to go to New York and live there for a year, initially I was like, I could put an application, but I'm probably not going to get it because so many people are going to apply. It's really competitive. But I did it anyway. And then managed to have the most amazing year living in New York City, working in Manhattan. Right? So the reason why I'm sharing these things with you is because I just want to encourage you not to give up before you've even started. I want to encourage you to be in the game because you have to be in it to win it. If you're just going to settle and say, oh, that's not possible for me, the type of thing that I would really like to do, I can't really do, then you're counting yourself out before you've even given yourself an opportunity to prove that you can do it. And so my encouragement to you today is don't focus on what you think you can get, but focus on what you really want. What is it that you really want? And then you can work backwards from there and say, this is where I want to get to. What is required for me to get there? What are the steps that I need to follow in order for me to get there? Are there some gaps in my knowledge? Is it that I need some support? What is it that I need in order for me to hit the goal that I ultimately want to achieve? And that goal might be specific to your kind of role that you want. But if you don't know what the role is yet, it might be, how do I want my life to be? How do I want my lifestyle to look? And so what kind of role, what kind of opportunity is going to align with that? That might be what you're striving towards. Whatever it is, it's setting that goal and then working backwards and then figuring out the plan, as opposed to just saying, oh, I'm just gonna take what's given. I'm just gonna take what's available. The other thing that I just wanted to say is really in terms of thinking about where it is that you want to be and what it is that you want to do, it's important to kind of take the filters off. So one of the things that I often say to clients when we first start working together is like, let's paint the vision of where you want to be without any filters. Like in an ideal world, where would you ultimately like to be? What that does is when you take off the filters and you take off the restrictions that we normally place on ourselves, it allows your brain to think bigger. It allows you to expand in terms of what is possible for you. And then from there, it's easier for you to actually like step outside of your comfort zone and really think about going for things that feel uncomfortable, because you're like, okay, I can actually see it as a possibility. And then now it's about me saying, can I work towards it? So when I work with clients in the Career Clarity Academy, it's about helping them to firstly understand like what is possible for them. And then what is the vision that you have for yourself and your career? And then when you get to the vision and know what it is that you want, then you can move into, okay, what's the strategy? So like I was mentioning before, sometimes people are looking in the wrong place for opportunities and for examples. So we have a whole part of our framework where we look at tapping into the hidden job market and understanding that you can attract opportunities without speaking to a recruiter or looking at a job board. There's other ways for you to find out opportunities that are out there. You just need to know what they are. You just need to have the tools in order for you to be able to see completely what opportunities are out there and be the type of candidate that people want to hire. Know how to package your expertise, know how to present yourself, know what it is the audience, being the recruiter or the interviewer, needs to hear in order for them to know that you are the right candidate for the role that they're applying for. So there are processes, there are frameworks, things that you can follow in order for you to move forward towards what you want, as opposed to you just saying, oh, it's not possible. Like, it is possible. You might just need to get the right type of support to move forward. So if you are someone who is saying that you need to make a career move and you're not quite sure how to take the steps or how to actually get to where it is you want to get to, or if you're trying to figure out what that even looks like, then I invite you to book a call with me. So enrollment is currently open for the Career Clarity Academy, which is a group coaching program, and it's going to be open. So if you're interested, book a call with me. Go to lightboxcoaching.com/academy and you can book a call and we can explore whether or not the program is going to be a good fit for you. And even if you don't book a call, I really want you to reflect on what I've talked about today and shared with you around like focusing on what it is that you want rather than what it is you think you can get, so that you're not cutting out lots of opportunities that could potentially be there for you. Take care. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Career Changemaker podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would love for you to let me know what your biggest takeaway has been. So head over to Instagram, tag me at Career Changemaker, and let me know your thoughts. What did you like most about today's episode? I look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, keep working towards your career goals, and we will speak very, very soon.